Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask, Heidi. It is Friday, the 6th day of September. Today is National Read a Book Day. Heidi likes to read books. Do you think you'll read a whole book today?
Not today, no, but
Okay.
I will read today.
It's also Fight Procrastination Day, Heidi, so maybe you could get that whole book done if you. Great Egg Toss Day today. National Coffee Ice Cream Day today. Have you ever had coffee ice cream? I like coffee.
Yeah, I have. I think
like
so,
ice cream.
yeah.
National 401k Day. National Chianti Day. National Lazy Moms Day. National Food Bank Day. Bring Your Manners to Work Day. And did I mention it's Fight Procrastination Day, or did I put that off?
You did mention
I did
that.
mention it?
You
Okay,
did.
I thought so. All of that happening. And I have a guest. I wish I had a lot more time to talk to him. I've got an interview with Luis Elizondo. He goes by Lou. He's the former head of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, the Pentagon unit that researches UFOs. He's got a new book out called Imminent. And I've seen him on like 3 different TV
Yeah,
shows.
this would be right up your alley.
Oh, yeah. I saw him on like 3 different TV shows. Then I had an opportunity to do an interview with him. I'm like, yes. So I'm so giddy. But I only have 5 minutes to chat with him. I'm like, okay, I've got a list of things I need to know. I don't know if any of them are going to be unclassified. All right, we'll chat with him all about it coming up.
Charlie has Parkinson's. Recently, Charlie started wearing a bracelet from Vitatech Healing.
I'm an avid golfer, and I was going to give it up this year. I just deteriorated that much. Now I'm back to golfing, enjoying it, having a good time. I just can't stress enough how good it is.
Click on radiosavings.com to hear more of Charlie's story and find out how Vitatech Healing is helping others with ADHD, fibromyalgia, autism, and more. Plus, find radio-only savings by clicking the link at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. If you're trying to lose weight, researchers from the University of Illinois say they have cracked the code. They've developed what they've called an individualized diet improvement program, which they say can cause 13% weight loss in a year. Sounds great. How does it work? Well, increase your daily protein to 80 grams and fiber to 20 grams. Oh, and cap your daily calorie count to 1,500 per day, which is far less than the 2,000 to 2,500 most people get. That's what they usually recommend. 41% of those who follow these guidelines were able to lose an average of 13% of their body weight by the 1-year mark without losing muscle, which often happens with rapid weight loss. So again, more protein, more fiber, less calories. Anybody shocked by any of this?
No.
You cracked the code, all right. Wait a minute. You want to lose weight? What am I supposed to do? Eat less. What else? No, that's pretty much it. Eat less. Okay. You can't sell a book when you have just 2 words. It's the 2-word diet. Eat less. All right. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
If you want a better credit card, it can be easy and not so hard. BetterCreditCards.com. Earn more points and get more perks. Get what you're looking for in a card that works. BetterCreditCards.com. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com.
That's bettercreditcards.com.
Did you know? Brought to you by Genesis Gold, IRA.com. Heidi, did you know that Elsie Eiler lives in a town in Nebraska? She's the only one there. She used to live there with her husband, Rudy, but he passed away in 2004. She became the sole resident of Monowi, M-O-N-O-W-I, Nebraska. She's the town mayor, bartender, and librarian, responsible for paying herself taxes and granting herself a liquor license. As of 2018, the population of that community was only 1, and it was the only 1 resident town in the entire United States, according to the BBC. So if you know another town of 1 person, I guess they were wrong at the BBC. We don't know everything, but now we know this.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by radiosavings.com. Nikki Glaser will host the 82nd Annual Golden Globe Awards. It's going to happen on January 5th of 2025 on CBS and Paramount+. Denzel Washington has hinted at retirement following the release of Gladiator 2 this fall. He's 69.
Love Denzel.
Yeah, he's 69 years old. We recently went to the movies. We saw the trailer for that, and Heidi was like, "Oh, I haven't seen him in anything lately."
Yeah,
so
it's been a long time.
We're excited to see him in this film. It hits theaters November 22nd. Meghan Markle's former bachelorette pad in Toronto is up for sale. 3-bedroom home in a city where she filmed the TV show Suits is on the market for $1.9 million. She rented it for the last couple of years, so I don't know if she was keeping it thinking, in case this whole
Just in case it doesn't work
being
out.
married to a prince thing doesn't work out. Is he still a prince?
I don't know. I thought he had given up his royal status. So
Yeah, I didn't know how all of that worked. I just remember they wanted to stay out of the spotlight, and then they started putting out press releases for every move they made
Ridiculous.
over the last couple of years. Just don't talk about us, but here's what you should say about us. Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by RadioSavings.com.
Charlie has Parkinson's. He started wearing a bracelet from Vitatech Healing, and he's noticed a difference even while sleeping.
Once I got in bed, I couldn't roll over. I couldn't move. I was just whatever position I was in, just a chore to get out of bed. And now everything is so much better.
Click on RadioSavings.com to hear more of Charlie's story and find out how Vitatech Healing is helping others with ADHD, fibromyalgia, autism, and more. Plus, find radio-only savings by clicking the link at RadioSavings.com. That's RadioSavings.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. According to research, how severe your hangover is depends mostly on your family history. So, Heidi, you can thank your relatives for that.
Irish heritage, baby.
There you go. And German heritage as well.
Yeah, and
So,
German.
German
Yeah.
and Irish heritage. So Heidi's got the best of both worlds. Is that what we're saying here? I don't know. And cucumbers. You a fan?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
big
yes.
time.
Love them.
I don't dislike them. I'm just not a big fan of cucumbers, but they are in short supply in some countries. Some supermarket chains report surging sales because of viral recipes on TikTok. Iceland, in particular, has a cucumber shortage. Local farmers are struggling to keep up with the booming business. The lack of cucumbers is rotten news for those wanting to try one of these viral recipes circulated by TikToker Logan Moffat, nicknamed the Cucumber Guy.
Yeah.
He shot to popularity this summer thanks to his cucumber salad concoctions. 23-year-old Canadian creator sets up many of his videos by saying sometimes you need to eat an entire cucumber before launching into a simple kitchen tutorial. The Cucumber Guy now has 5.6 million followers, and videos of his mouth-watering creations regularly surpass the millions of views. And it seems that and maybe some other things also has led to a shortage of the key ingredient,
I'll
cucumbers.
have to check him out. I love cucumbers. I love them.
What is your favorite way to have cucumbers?
I'll eat them lots of ways. I like to just slice them up and eat them fresh. I like to slice them up and put them in water and vinegar with onion. And
Well, and the other thing I thought maybe you would say your
like them in
cucumber
salads. I
cucumber
like 'em-
water. Because
I like cucumber water.
I open my refrigerator now, and there's a jar of water. It's not a jar.
water pitcher.
A pitcher of water.
with slices of cucumber.
Cucumbers floating in it.
It's
I'm like,
so good.
I remember when you first started doing that. I'm like, what is going on in here?
I found it at the Delta Sky Lounge.
Yeah.
That's the way
Yeah.
they serve it, and
No.
it was so yummy. So
Yeah.
I've been drinking that ever since.
I tried some. I'm like, I'm still good. Scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com.
Can your IRA or 401k stand up to the next financial crisis by allocating a percentage of your retirement into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns. Safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Protect your retirement today with a simple phone call and receive your free gold and silver guide. Call 1-800-200-GOLD or visit genesisgoldira.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Excited to visit with Luis Elizondo. He is the former head of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program at the Pentagon. They research UFOs. Lou, I could talk for a couple of hours about this. It's fascinating. But you probably talk to a lot of people who are fascinated by this subject, don't you?
I do, yeah. And for me, it's an honor and privilege to be with you here today. Thank you so much for having me.
I've seen you on a bunch of different news programs talking about your new book, Imminent, Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFOs. How long did it take to put this book together, to gather all the information?
Oh, it was a 3-year process, and it was a year-long process at the Pentagon to get it cleared for release. It went through an extensive security review process. And even though I took a lot of precautions when writing the book, there were still portions that were redacted by the Pentagon. And I made the decision to leave those redactions in as is so the American public could actually see for themselves. some of the sections that the government was very sensitive to. So you could actually see the black lines in the document that the government said I can't talk about. But yeah, it was a bit it was a bit of an epic journey, you might say.
So the way they look at it is some of this stuff is on a need to know basis, and we just don't need to know.
Well, I think we do have a need to know. I think America can handle the truth, and I think America deserves to know the truth. And
I know the government has been recently saying a lot more than they've said in the past, which is very, very nice. And this topic is something that's interested people for a long time. And I bet if you go on to the internet and search for books about this topic, you're going to find probably hundreds of different books on this topic. But the difference between those books and the book that you put out, Imminent, Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFOs, is the fact that you actually worked for the Pentagon. You worked for this ATIP program at the Pentagon, and that's a little different perspective than some guy that's just interested in UFOs and lights in the sky. Is it unusual for somebody in your position to be able to put out a book like this with information that you've been able to put out in this particular book?
I think we're seeing a title shift about this topic in government. Let's not forget that we've recently had a director of national intelligence, former director of national intelligence, former director of the CIA, and even a former president of the United States all come out on the record and say, yeah, these things are real. Looks, there's something to this. You have the creation of an organization under the executive branch to actually investigate these things. And you have landmark legislation. And there's new legislation coming out as well for this year. So I think you're beginning to see a title shift. Now, there's still elements in the government that are very, very, and I cannot overemphasize, very unhappy with me doing what I did. But I think there's also an equal number of people right now in the government that are actually happy and relieved that we're now finally having this conversation.
Now, there have been stories of sightings for generations, but nowadays we all walk around with, cell phones in our pocket that have cameras and video cameras and all kinds of technology. With the technology that we have, does that make it easier for you to actually get the evidence that there's something happening? But does it also make it easier for people who want to, use AI or create some weird spoof thing? Does that make it more difficult in that sense?
100% both. Yes, it is more pervasive, the technology we have now, where we can go ahead and anybody now can start capturing information on the UFOs and UAP. But also therein lies the problem, right? It's a double-edged sword, because when that happens, people are getting more and more clever with deep fake videos, creating content for clicks and likes because they get rewarded for that attention, right? Because that's the way social media is designed. So it's becoming increasingly challenging. It's a wonderful, wonderful resource, but it's also, you have to be extremely, extremely critical and diligent when you look at these things. Anything that's in the open media. That's why for us, we only focus on military equities. We focused on military combat aircraft and radar data and electro-optical data from gun cameras that were military sourced. We didn't really focus too much on, grandma seeing some lights in the backyard or civilian data. We were looking at, very sophisticated military and intelligence sensor systems. And that's where we were deriving our information.
Lou, if I had 2 more hours to chat with you, I'd have so many more questions, but I do appreciate the time you've given me today. Thank you so much for chatting with us about your new book.
It has been absolutely my privilege and honor being with you and your audience today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Again, our guest today, Luis Elizondo. He's got a brand new book out. It's called Imminent, Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFOs. I've got a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Charlie has Parkinson's. Recently, Charlie started wearing a bracelet from VitaTech Healing.
I'm an avid golfer, and I was going to give it up this year. I just deteriorated that much. Now I'm back to golfing, enjoying it, having a good time. I just can't stress enough how good it is.
Click on radiosavings.com to hear more of Charlie's story and find out how VitaTech Healing is helping others with ADHD, fibromyalgia, autism, and more. Plus, find radio-only savings by clicking the link at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Only 30% of people can flare their nostrils. Can you flare your nostrils? Hey, look at you. Yeah, you can too.
Doesn't really translate to radio.
It doesn't, but do the rest of the show with our nostrils flared just because we're so unique. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Eating 100 calories gives you the energy to propel a bicycle 3 miles. Not me.
Oh.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
When Play-Doh was first introduced in 1956, the only color available was off-white. Yeah, they added the colors later. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The term junkie comes from the fact that heroin users in the early 1900s would collect scrap metal and sell it to get drugs. They were collecting junk or, becoming junkies.
All right, interesting.
Yeah, and our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Chinese, the language, requires no punctuation.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, I don't know how they know when to stop. They just apparently know. So that's kind of cool. Fun thing is, I know several people whose text messages also require no punctuation. You just read it, you're like, what are they trying to say? It's all caps, no punctuation. Several fun facts. Now you know. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
If you want a better credit card, it can be easy and not so hard. BetterCreditCards.com. Earn more points and get more perks. Get what you're looking for in a card that works. BetterCreditCards.com. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com.
That's BetterCreditCards.com.
Time now for the Mint Mobile question of the day. It comes your way, courtesy of mintervention.com. Question for you, Heidi. In a survey, 22% of people said they have done this for their boss. What is it?
I have no idea.
Watched their pets. So like babysit a dog or a parakeet or a cat or something. 22% of people have watched their boss's pet. So I don't think I've ever done that. I guess I've watched Heidi's pets, but they're also my pets because we're married to each other. Mint Mobile question of the day comes your way, courtesy of mintervention.com.
Charlie has Parkinson's. He started wearing a bracelet from Vitatech Healing, and he's noticed a difference even while sleeping.
Once I got in bed, I couldn't roll over. I couldn't move. I was just whatever position I was in, just a chore to get out of bed. And now everything is so much better.
Click on radiosavings.com to hear more of Charlie's story and find out how Vitatech Healing is helping others with ADHD, fibromyalgia, autism, and more. Plus, find radio-only savings by clicking the link at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by weirdgiftoftheday.com. We're going to talk about a famous person releasing their own fragrance, which, why would that be weird news, right? That's normal. That happens all the time.
Okay.
Tennessee Titans quarterback Will Levis, am I saying it right, has released his new scent, and it's interesting. He partnered with Hellmann's Mayonnaise,
Ew.
for Will Levis number 8 Parfum de Mayonnaise.
Oh.
It's a perfume for men and women that smells like America's favorite sandwich condiment.
Oh, gross.
The new scent is proving to be popular. Sold out within 90 minutes of going on sale. The mayo scented cologne is not something that isn't just something that he stamped his name on either. He was involved in creating it, and he's familiar enough with the intricacies of mayo to be an expert. Rumor has it that he adds this stuff to his coffee for an extra kick. The mayonnaise, not the perfume. So he makes coffee and puts Hellmann's Mayonnaise in it. That sounds weird. That sounds very weird. But now I'm not.
And you'd think it would just like curdle up or something.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of want to try it just to see because I like mayonnaise and I like coffee. Yeah, it's weird.
No
Weird
thanks.
news brought to you by weirdgiftoftheday.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for the list brought to you by bettercreditcards.com. Kind Humor Facebook page. We talked about this yesterday, had a thing where they're talking about in the movies, these things that always just happen, but they only happen in the movies. So we had the first half of the list, and we've got the entire list in the show notes if you want to see it. But we'll start right here. Hello, I'm a person having a shower or a bath in a film. I never wash my body because I'm too busy conveying my emotional state. Yeah. Hello, I'm a person in a movie who goes into a bar and orders a beer, and the bartender knows exactly what type of beer or brand without me ever saying it. Hello, I'm a beautiful heroine staying one step ahead of the zombies. It's been weeks, but my hair and makeup are still perfect, and my clothes are torn just enough to show the right amount of skin. Hello, I'm a bad guy in a film, and when I put a USB stick in anything, I get it the right way first time around every time. Yeah, I never do. Every time I try to put in a USB,
flip it over, and
then I fumble and I try it the other way, and it still doesn't work, and then I look at it and I try it the third way. I'm like, didn't I already do this one once? I've got this entire list in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Can your IRA or 401k stand up to the next financial crisis? By allocating a percentage of your retirement into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns. Safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Protect your retirement today with a simple phone call and receive your free gold and silver guide. Call 1-800-200-GOLD or visit genesisgoldira.com.
Time now for the quote of the day. It comes your way, courtesy of radiosavings.com. Our quote today is from Cecilia Egan, who says, "Marriage is a romantic relationship in which the heroine dies within the first chapter." Oh, that's not good.
No.
That's not what it is for me. Is that what it is for you?
Not even close.
We've been married for almost 25 years.
Yeah.
We met almost 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? It's 25 years ago this month is when we met.
I know.
And my life has not been normal since. Quote of the day comes your way, courtesy of radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. Here's a cool story. A lot of people love you. Community unites to fulfill a 10-year-old cancer warrior's dream. A 10-year-old girl battling cancer got the surprise of a lifetime. She got tickets to see someone she absolutely loves, Taylor Swift.
Aww.
Kennedy Koch is the young lady's name, a vibrant and resilient young warrior. She's faced more challenges in her short little 10-year life than most people do in an entire lifetime. Diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer at just 2 years old.
Gosh, that
she
breaks
spent,
my heart.
Yeah, so much of her childhood bravely battling the disease. It all began when a routine visit to urgent care for a common cold led to the discovery of a lung tumor, a consequence of a rare genetic condition, Dicer 1 syndrome. The syndrome makes it difficult for her body to suppress tumors, leading to multiple health battles. Despite the odds, she overcame her initial diagnosis, became miraculously cancer-free after enduring chemotherapy and numerous treatments. However, that was the beginning. Her journey took a difficult turn January of this year when doctors discovered thyroid tumors during a routine scan. She underwent surgery and once again showed incredible resilience, but 6 months later, her condition worsened. Doctors found an aggressive uterine cancer. Now, at just 10, she faces daunting prospect of a hysterectomy, again at age 10, followed by more chemotherapy. As she prepared for another battle, her mother, Jody, knew that her daughter needed something to lift her spirits. And she also knew that her daughter was a huge fan of Taylor Swift, but she was looking at tickets, and they were thousands of dollars.
That's insane.
And she's like, yeah, that's just probably not something that's going to happen. That will be the impossible dream. Well, the community stepped up. A GoFundMe was set up, and they launched this. And within just a short amount of time, over $16,000 was raised to help this young lady go see this concert that, again, is something that she really, really wanted to see. And she's 10,
right,
and she's struggling with cancer.
Gosh.
The tickets that she has are for November the 3rd. And I think the thing that's really cool, and I love sharing this story, I think it would be really cool if this makes its way to Taylor Swift as well.
Yeah.
Because it'd be cool to see the concert. But can you imagine if this young lady got to meet her? What are you laughing at me for?
Are you okay?
I'm just saying that would be really cool.
Yes, it would.
All right. So maybe we'll have an update on this story in the future. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. You can see the story. I've got a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.